What do we have coming up? I think it was 20 points higher on the Nifty in the pre-open session. So we pick up from there. I think it's slightly higher, barely. So 24,420 is where we are starting. You got the Sensex, which is starting at about 80,140. The Bank Nifty is starting slightly lower, 0.12%. We'll have to look at individual names because there are movers. Mid-cap index is starting up by a little bit, but not by much. Advanced decline is 1:1, but I mean, this is just stocks opening up, so we'll have to give it some time. But it's about 15 odd points higher. The Nifty heat map coming into view now, and there it's more up than down. I've got 18 odd names which are in the red, but the rest of them starting up in the green.
You know that rate on IndusInd Bank, it wasn't a fluke. It is down 10% in the actual market opening as well. That's the extent of the disappointment with the rise in slippages, fall in margins, huge surge in provisioning. The market's worried about what's coming next. I think particularly on the fact that provisioning has gone up in a very dramatic way. So what is it that the bank is seeing? Maybe on their microfinance book, maybe something else. But that's definitely keeping investors concerned. The other disappointment has been NTPC. Numbers weren't great. Vivek told us that, 2% down over there. There's some profit-taking continuing on the entire auto pack. Hero, Moto, M&M, Maruti, Eicher, all these stocks are lower. Reliance and Infosys are two biggies that are right now on the red side of the screen. And that explains the 14-15 point decline. We had a little tinge of green when we started, but it's very quickly turning to red right now. On the green side, what's offering some counterbalance is Axis Bank, actually, 2.5% up with Mr. Chaudhary's extension coming through. ITC, the market's choosing to read it as the glass half full and not empty. So the strong performance on the top line, that's getting rewarded, 2% up over there. There's some defensive buying in names like Pharma and Cipla, that's quite evident. And some consumer is actually coming back because consumer was getting beaten down so badly. So Britannia, HUL, or even Nestle for that matter, these are stocks on the upside. So FMCG, some Pharma, and a little bit of IT, Wipro, TCS, trying to be on the upside of the screen. But let's see how this goes, because on the downside, apart from, of course, the cut on IndusInd Bank, we have big names like, even HDFC Bank now down about 0.5%. So it was a great support for the bulls all through the week. Let's see right now on the red.
Well, the screen actually, though it's looking like a more or less flattish screen, but there are big winners from the broader markets. DCB came out with its set of numbers. That one's up 9%. It's flying away as we speak. PNB Housing Finance as well has that bit of valuation comfort as well. That stock has already seen a bit of a rally from 700 to around 1,000. Then it corrected a little bit, but today it's putting on more weight and those numbers look quite good. 8.5% higher in today's trading session. Laurus Labs, last quarter's numbers were a miss, but the street wants to buy for the future, it seems, because the stock bounces back. It's up closer around 3%. That's been the trend. At some point of time, delivery needs to catch up, so we'll wait by for that. In terms of other stocks, you have Shriram Properties. The stock is down close to 5%. There's some regulatory action overnight, so that stock has taken a hit. Ujjivan Small Finance Bank as well is pulling back close to 4.5%. Giving it company on the downside is Bandhan Bank. So post that, that appointment of the new MD at the helm, well, that stock has given up all those gains. In fact, it's much lower. It's closer to the lower end of the range now, down close to around 3% or thereabouts. And Pyramid Pharma, they did well yesterday. That, in fact, as well, has come in for some profit-taking. Laurus Labs, though, that's the big mover, moving on large volumes. And the big boy, ITC, the street likes it. Volume growth in the cigarettes business was good. The agri-business grew more, which diluted margins, but otherwise, valuation's favorable. It's corrected from the recent peak. So that's doing some of the heavy lifting today.
Nippon Life India and Radico Khaitan. So you've got some great examples where earnings are getting well rewarded. And in a market which otherwise is looking all lackluster, these two stocks are flying through about 7% up per piece.
Right out of the gates, I mean, market breadth is negative. So about 1,300 stocks are lower and about 800 stocks are higher. So this is the lay of the land, but it's been a negative market breadth through the course of the last 10 days or so without any break at all. AU Bank is selling off about 6% right now. Actually, it's a pretty, except the top private financial names, it's largely been, especially on the NBFC side and microfinance side, etc. Look at IIFL. Yesterday, of course, it bounced quite a bit from the lows, but essentially it's back to where it was during the ban era when they were not allowed to disburse gold loans. Bandhan, as Nigel was mentioning again, new guy at the helm, but stocks sulking. Colgate-Palmolive is down 3%. It's got volumes. Piramal Pharma, but these are just pullbacks. Piramal has done well recently. NTPC is down about 2.5%. IndusInd, of course, remains circuit down 10%, at least right now. IDFC First Bank is down 2%. Coromandel, Nalco, these are between 2 and 3% lower. JSW Energy is down about 3% as well. But, that's it. That's the volume-led losers list. And on the upside, PNB Housing is a big mover. It's up 10%. So 1,023 on PNB Housing. Axis is reacting. It's the biggest volume-led gainer right now. 3% pop on Axis Bank. Radico is up. So you've got two 10% stocks today. Radico is up 9% actually. So 10 and 9 on PNB and Radico respectively. And then you got ITC, Godrej Consumer Products, or Oracle Financial Services, all in the range of between 2 and 3%. And as Surabhi mentioned, Nippon India continues to gain at this point. DCB Bank is another one which is up about 6.5%. So about 117 at this point. Right?
Dixon's numbers very good. The stock is now in the red though. It's come off close to around 7% from the high point of the day. The street liked those numbers, but it's corrected sharply. I think valuations at around 65, 70 times, so that could be plaguing them. No doubt the numbers are good. Management sounded very, very confident. They upped their guidance for this year as well. But it appears after the heady run that we have seen year to date, it appears the street believes part of the good news is in the price. And at around 65 times, it's not particularly cheap.
What is in the EMS space, one of the things which is which has seen a big re-rating, I guess, because of exactly this reason, is EPAC durables, right? That has moved up from whatever 250 odd levels very quickly to about 450, and still I think in that space the cheapest of the lot. We spoke with them recently. They tied up with I think it was a Chinese company recently and they're diversifying as well. But that's the market for you. 10-point change.